What's up, world? You already know who it is. It's your favorite director, Maurice Paramore. We back with another episode of Direct Your Success, where you are in charge of your own destiny. All you got to do is get up and go get it. I'm super excited today because I have a really good brother with me. A brother I've been building with for a few years now. I had the luxury of having, some really good conversations with him, but today is the first time we get to actually sit down and document the conversation. So I'm really excited about that. I have my brother. He is a businessman. He is an athlete, actor. I mean, amongst other things, his brother's really brilliant. And like I said, every time we talk, we have a good conversation. So I want to welcome my brother to the show, Andrew Peurifoy. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Maurice. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. I'm overjoyed to be here, and just like you said, we've been building for some years now, and here we are. So
Yeah, man, that's what it's about, man. I don't think people really understand how important relationships are and building relationships and really taking the time to like nurture them. You know what I mean? It's easy to kind of get lost in the sauce, meeting people online. You know what I mean? You meet
yep,
so many people, so many different type of personalities, but it's not until you actually meet somebody in person and get to really understand them and know them to really be able to build a really honest relationship.
absolutely. And um, I just also want to commend you on all your work right now, man.
Thank you.
And that's really what drew me to you. For you to be so young in the game, and right now you have 5 movies on Tubi.
Right. Yeah.
So that's something I want to be a part of.
Thank you,
So
man.
I really
Absolutely.
wanted to highlight your success as well. Yeah, and going back to what you said, nurturing those relationships and really building with somebody, and your name was buzzing around some years back, and I felt the need that I needed to reach out to you. With us both being from South Jersey,
Right.
I knew that it was a pivotal point and very imperative that I met you so that I could, in the future get in some things, as well as us do some business as well. So that
Absolutely,
was my
man.
thought process behind that.
Thank you, man. No, I appreciate you reaching out. I think it's important to have, you know, a good name in this business, reputation, all of that stuff really matters. It's really a small industry. Entertainment is
Definitely
very
is.
small. You think it's big, but your name travels good and bad. You know what I mean?
Sure
So the
does.
fact that you felt compelled to reach out from hearing through other people, that the name was good and that I was doing some things, and then you kind of like did your own due diligence. So I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
No
So
problem.
I'm excited, man. Like I said, very interesting brother, man. And I kind of want to go all the way back, man. I know you're a businessman. I know you're doing your thing right now. We definitely going to talk about the business. You got your own management company,
Yep.
doing your thing, man. But I want to go back, like back to like the beginning, the athlete. You know what I mean, Andrew, the
Sure.
athlete. Like first of all, like kind of like lead me into where you kind of got your start. Was it like a family thing? Was a lot of people in your family like sports players, or were you kind of like pioneered that aspect of it?
I would say a little bit of both. I did have some. I do have some athletes in my family, so I would call myself, a chip off. I guess what people say: the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
But I also would say I did pioneer some things myself as well. But yeah, so if you want to go back to Genesis, I would say it would be 1992. Jerome Brown
Okay.
it was either Jerome Brown or Reggie White
Okay.
was a sports authority. Okay, and my dad took me to get an autograph.
Okay.
Okay, so after that day, I was so obsessed with my autograph and stuff, and I said, hey, I was wondering how do you get here? How do you get that famous? I saw this long line of people waiting to meet this guy and waiting to just get his signature. It was
Right.
fascinating to me as a kid. So
Okay.
what my dad did was a couple years later, he signed me up for youth football. Okay, so we're 1995 now. Was my first year there, so I was again in youth football, youth basketball a few years later. So we get around to middle school, and now I'm deeply entrenched. Basketball is life now.
Right.
And I even
Right.
put football off. I was just in basketball, so now we're coming up, early in the Y2K,
Okay.
2001, 2002. Now we get to high school.
Okay.
So now we're in high school. I'm playing basketball, football, and track. Okay, I'm getting some looks, colleges and different things like that. And as time went on, I realized that, hey, this is definitely something that I could take to the next level.
Okay.
So I decided to attend a junior college. Now, I don't know if our audience or you may be familiar with how rich junior college is in football. Rich
No.
junior college football is in a lot of great NFL stars went to junior college first.
Okay.
So I went to a junior college called Lackawanna College out in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yep.
So out there, they were like they're in the top three every year, top 3 to 5 every single year.
Right.
So my freshman year, I went there, started as a true freshman at safety. We won a national championship, Valley of the Sun Bowl 2006. And I'm on this high and stuff like that. And got my ring, and I said, "Oh man, I'm off to D1 after this,
Okay.
and off to, hopefully the NFL." So it didn't quite work like that.
Right.
After junior college, during junior college, I had stumbled down to a boxing gym.
Okay.
And let some guys get in my ear, and they said, I really believe you could be like light heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, so
Just after like the first time that you went in there, or
I
was
jumped in the ring like right away,
sparring
maybe
with
the
somebody?
first month, and started
Okay.
sparring, and they told me, they said, "Hey man, you need to be doing this." And I never loved school, always excelled, did what I needed
what you
to
had
do.
to do? Yeah.
Exactly, but I just got so, and I don't want to say I was an individual, but the team aspect versus the you being a fighter, where it's really a small team, it's you, because I don't want to say like I like all the glory for myself, but I also don't mind the responsibility.
Right.
So it was kind of like it was perfect.
Okay.
So everything was working. So anyway, I jumped into amateur boxing, shortly after, and I fought for maybe 2007, 8, 9, 10, 2012. I finally jumped into the Pennsylvania Golden Gloves tournament, and I had moved up to heavyweight.
Okay.
From light heavyweight.
Okay.
So now I'm at 201 is the cutoff.
I was about to say that before you finish up. Like, so what is, like, when I think of heavyweights, obviously, the Tysons, the Holyfields, and stuff like that. But what is what is the actual weight class to say now I'm in a heavyweight? And once you in the heavyweight, does it matter how big you can be, as big as you want, or is it still like you have to be a certain level?
Okay, so in amateur boxing, it mirrors pro boxing a bit. So at light heavyweight, I started at light heavyweight, which is 166 to 178.
Okay.
Okay, so that was light heavy. Now I moved up to the division right after that, which is in the pros it's called cruiserweight, but in amateur boxing it's heavyweight. So it is 179 to 201. Okay, now 201 plus is considered in amateur boxing super heavyweight. In the pros, that's heavyweight. Okay, so I was cruiserweight. But in the amateurs, it's called heavyweight. Because 201 plus is super heavyweight. Okay, so I fought in the 179 to 201.
201.
That was my division, yeah.
Oh,
When I moved there.
So, I mean, like, I know you said you did the Golden Gloves tournament and all of that stuff. You so you got into like, how does that work? Because when you think about people that do a lot of people been boxing all of their lives, right?
Yeah.
From teenagers, some of them is 10, 6 years old that
I was
start
late to the party.
Yeah, late to the party. So how did you excel so fast, and how did you become so good? Like, did you get into a lot of fights when you was younger? It was just something that you just kind of like.
Maurice, I some of it had to do with being a natural athlete and also being in other sports. Although none of those sports are boxing.
Right.
So it's not the same. A lot of people want to say, "Oh, I played football, I played contact sport." No. There's no playing in the sport of boxing.
Right.
Or MMA or kickboxing.
Right.
Okay. Or karate fighting. Right. There's no play. There's no, your life's on the line. Okay. You're definitely defending yourself, and a side of you comes out that you will really find out who you are. So anyway, I definitely dedicated myself big time, which was, wasn't too hard for me because, like I said, that's all I had done my whole life was sports. So that was the that was the cornerstone of my existence at that time. You know, I'm 19, 20, 21, 22.
Right.
So,
Did you stop playing football when you first joined that gym? Was you
yeah.
still playing football?
Yep, that was my last season.
That was it.
Yep.
Was it
Yeah.
because of boxing?
It was, you know, it was. I really missed home too. I'm not gonna lie. It was just, you know, it was a lot being away from home for the first time, and I got back. I got back home, started boxing, and I actually became a personal trainer.
Okay.
So that really was interesting to me because I was making some good money for, you know, a young kid, 20 years old.
Right.
You know, I was working at Retro Fitness.
Okay.
They used to have a company called EFT, Effective Fitness Training.
Okay.
So that was really interesting to me because I could kind of like write my own paycheck. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was. I was like, you know what? I want to hit the road. I want to, you know, I want to hit the workforce, and I got a new sport now. You know, I
Right.
was, you know, for so many years of football, basketball, I kind of just had really honed in on boxing.
That was like the thing.
Yeah.
So you in a ring, when you get in a ring for the first time, not really just sparring, but maybe you can talk about that. But when you get into the ring the first time, like
Scared
what
to
is,
death.
I was about to ask that. Like, are boxers?
Yeah.
Because I hear this a lot about like Tyson, and it's recently coming up that Tyson said every time he got into the ring, he was actually scared.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you think of like how can Tyson be scared? If anybody, everybody's scared of you.
Yeah.
How is it like in speak on like compared to football, right? Is it like an adrenaline rush or is it literally like you're scared?
So football, I was never really scared. You're more so nervous that, you know, you're playing a good team or you got a good running back that, hey, this guy comes and, you know, barreling out to the outside. I might have to make the tackle or whatever, try to push him out of bounds, whatever
Right.
I'm going to do. But that fear has nothing, excuse me, it does not compare to the fear you have in boxing because think about it. I mean, in all actuality, you can be. We're gonna think the most extreme case possible. You could be unalived,
Right.
right?
Yeah, right.
You know, it's
right.
a person can beat you to death and not
Literally.
even try to,
Right.
or not even realize they're doing it. Okay, can cause, you know, a lifetime of damage, man,
I
where
say
you can never be the
injuries.
same.
Yeah.
So you're basically, it's almost like if you were going to the casino with every dime you have, every single time you step into the ring.
Right.
So, you know, and I like to talk about fighting because that is what gave me the courage to do other things that others are scared to do.
Okay.
As far as in business, as far as in whatever it may be, networking, community service, whatever it is, you know, trailblazing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know, that definitely grew me into a man.
Okay.
Okay. From a young man to a man.
Right.
After that.
Right.
So
is it kind of like facing your fears? Like, okay, I know I'm scared to get in this ring, but I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna face my fears. I'm gonna do what I do, and I know this is gonna help me get over other things. You know, face other
Absolutely.
fears and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that was, you know, we trained for about 3-4 years and then we got into the Golden Gloves, won in 2012. Won the whole thing at heavyweight at, you know, 179 to 201. Then we won
Nice.
again back to back in 2013. And then shortly after, that's when my name was kind of, you know,
Ringing.
yeah. So then shortly after, we got to fight the number one fighter in the U.S. Yeah, he had the National PAL,
Okay.
Police Athletic League. He had the National Golden Gloves, and then he had the National USA.
Okay.
He was the USA. He was number one ranked. Okay, and we fought him July 2019. Shout out to Mike Hilton.
Okay.
From Trenton.
Nice.
Amateur Boxing Hall of Fame. So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, so that was
good
a
friend
real
of mine.
situation.
Yes,
yeah.
and he is a real situation.
Yeah.
Undefeated pro still to this day.
To this day.
Yep, 16
Wow.
and 0. So, you know, Mike, I always thank him, man. You know, because my pro career didn't turn out how I wanted it to. So,
Right.
but you know, that fight right there gives me.
Like,
I'm just so glad I went and got it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
then
yeah.
because you never know
Exactly.
how it's gonna end.
so when it comes to amateur versus pro, like, what's the difference? When does it become? What is it? What's the like? No, the qualifications or what's the
Sure. Yeah.
what says?
What's
okay,
the bridge getting
yeah,
you from amateur
from-
to pro?
Yeah. What's the?
So in boxing, it's a little bit different than other pro sports. Okay. Excuse me, other pro sports other than fight sports. So in amateur boxing, you can become a pro boxer if you are fit to box. There's not a qualification other than you being fit to do it.
okay.
So you can go in there and jump in that pro game in that pool, but you most likely you will be, taken under
Okay.
because you don't have you weren't picked up by a promoter, you weren't
Okay.
picked up by somebody who can get you on the A side of things, because that's how it goes. That's the business. To get you on the
Okay.
A side of things, get you on. So basically, I was picked up, actually,
Okay.
signed.
Okay.
Okay, again, because I was right up in that top. All right, after the Hilton fight, after the Golden Gloves, 2 years, I was, picked up by a legendary manager in Philadelphia named Joe Hand.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was the original investor in Joe Frazier.
Oh,
That
nice.
he actually paid for the Joe Frazier statue in front of Xfinity Live.
Okay.
So I was picked up by Joe Hand. Yeah, and he also is he's in the Pennsylvania Boxing Hall of Fame, but also he broke some sort of a record for being one of the first people. I don't know the exact terminology for closed circuit television, closed circuit TV boxing.
Okay.
So he was the TV guy. He was, I mean, it was, the future was looking bright.
Right.
Okay. So we had a couple of deals on the table.
Okay.
We had Lou DiBella with DiBella Entertainment. That was HBO Boxing After Dark.
Okay.
Okay. New York, he's up there. Lou DiBella, big name in the sport. We had Joe Han, who was coming, and then we had Bernard Hopkins,
Okay.
Golden Boy Promotions. He told me he wanted me to fight 15 more fights. Okay. Joe Han came to me with the right deal, with the right stuff. You know what I mean?
So he wanted 15 more fights before he would like take you on.
Or another year and a half.
Okay.
Or, and then he was going to, in reality, would that have been a smarter move? Probably.
Really?
Because
The name.
they know a way better deal. They know a way greater deal about matchmaking. Okay. And about things. See, a lot of times with guys like that are businessmen that get into the sport of boxing, they lack the know-how on how to actually match make. And it's just, hey, some of them sort of have the thinking and the mind frame of, hey, this person can either fight or they can't.
Right.
Okay. And that's not the game anymore. But was that the game when he got into it? Yes, it was.
Okay.
Just like we talked earlier about not keeping up with the times.
Right. Right.
I said, hey, man, how many Joe Fraziers are out there that can, that you can put him in a fight with anybody.
Right.
And that, sometimes it doesn't work like that. And again, we're talking about what, being in the game, 5 years? Okay, we started at 19. So, some guys may require a little bit different
Okay.
journey or path than, say this guy over here.
Okay.
It's not just a set it and forget it type of thing, hey, just match him up. And so anyway, I'm not here to diagnose why.
Right.
Or how or whatever, but they did the best. I believe they did their best.
Right.
We did our best, and again, it propelled me to get to where I am today.
Right.
Okay.
It was all part of the journey.
Exactly. And the only regret I have is not kickboxing and karate fighting, because that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Okay. Because my one trainer that I had got with in 2007. Phil Maldonado, he had talked to me and he said, I hate boxing. I don't want you involved. Da, da, da. And I said, nah, man, I'm doing well. Blah, blah, blah. I went and boxed anyway. Okay. And I truly believe that I would have been a multiple world champion if I had karate fought. Right? Oh. Yeah. And they have a new league now, what is it? Karate Championship, I think, where you have the gi pants and all that. But it reminds you of the retro style of karate fight. You're wearing the smaller MMA gloves, but it's, kicks, it's K1, kicks knee up and stuff like that. So that's where we are right now. But
so you thought that do you think it was better for your style of fighting? Like, why do you think you would have been more successful?
Well, I was as successful as you could be in amateur boxing besides like an Olympic gold medal.
Gotcha.
Or going to the Olympics. That was really the only thing we didn't do.
Okay.
So, but I truly believe that if I was karate fighting or kickboxing, I think I would, yeah.
Okay.
I think I would have got to that world stage. And I was a little hasty. So that's the one thing I did wrong, is I feel like I maybe should have stayed in amateurs another year or two.
Okay.
Once I had gotten up there, it was like, oh, I'm ready. So, patience is key.
That's
key.
a big thing. Yeah. Yep. So in that world, is it, when it comes to like how you're going to get paid or deals or whatever the case may be, or promoters representing you and stuff like that, is it more still like a one-on-one type of thing with you versus this fighter, or is it kind of like okay, we kind of like promote you for a year and then we get paid and you get paid? Is it kind of like how like a heavyweight bout is, like a pro bout? Like how does that kind of work with just the business aspect of it?
The business aspect is just, you get two guys and one guy's on the A side, one guy's on the B side. In the beginning days, you're going to be selling tickets. Okay. So,
Gotcha.
your promoter's going to offer you, he's going to guarantee you a set number. And then you're probably also going to get a percentage of ticket sales.
Okay.
So usually how it works is maybe some promoters might let you keep your percentage off of the top for what you turn in. Okay, you sell 200 tickets or whatever, like that's a lot for an up and coming guy.
Right.
You sell 200 tickets. You keep 15%.
Okay.
Okay, and you turn in the rest. Or some promoters might say, hey, you sold 200 tickets. We're gonna mail you a check. You're gonna get your fight check right after the fight. That's universal. And then we're gonna mail you a check for your 15%.
Okay.
So I've seen it both ways.
Right. What did you like better? Playing football or boxing?
I would say basketball.
Really?
No contact. Very little, at least.
Yeah. It's very hard to become an NBA player.
Oh, extremely hard.
And people don't realize it. Like, growing up, that's all we did. All we did was play basketball, right?
Yeah.
Everybody think they're going to the league.
Sure.
But you don't realize that it was like this meme that went on this video where this professor, I think, was just talking about how you may have X amount of, boys or girls that want to play in the NBA, but within 5 years, it's only so many spots that are even available.
That's
right?
right. And so many teams.
And so many teams.
And what about the guys that stay in the league 10 years?
10 years, right? You have the LeBrons and stuff like that. But then what about the people that are already kind of like they have a spot almost because their pops played in. You know what I mean? Generational stuff, right?
That's
so now
right.
those spots are taken away, right?
That's right.
So you really have to be at the top.
And you're fighting along. You're fighting for even it, recognition.
Yeah.
When you're coming into the league with a guy like, say, this kid Bronny James, right? Say he goes or Melo's son. Who are they going to be talking about?
Right. That's it.
And if you want to compare that to boxing, you can look at Bernard Hopkins. He's coming from prison.
Right.
Right. Straight into pro boxing.
Right.
And then you have the amateur sensations like a De La Hoya, like a Mayweather, all in the 90s like that when he was coming up. Who, people are talking about them. Roy Jones, all of them went to the Olympics. Even back then, Evander Holyfield, Tyson, they were amateur stars too.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, he was fighting to even be talked about. And same was with me. I'm coming from prison, but I'm coming out of nowhere. Look, man, with yourself with films, you're not coming from some lineage of, like if you want to say like a Robert Downey Jr. where both of your parents were in films and stuff like that. And, hey, I can get you every little anything you get, man, is, look at me. I'm starting from scratch.
Right.
So people have to understand that kind of stuff, man.
That's true.
We're out here hitting the pavement
every day.
It's just us, and that's why I like to link with guys like you because, I know what you're doing.
Right.
And the thing is if there's a resource or something like that, or I don't even care if it's, a knowledge building session.
Right.
We can, a donation, anything, man.
Right.
We can help each other.
Yeah. And that's so important because like you said, when you don't have, mom and pops they're in a business,
sure,
or left you X amount of money or whatever the case may be, or just in general, just as simple as not being in a territory where this is kind of prominent. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is not, films are not being made like that, like Hollywood films like that, left and right in New Jersey, even though, kind of started in New Jersey up in Newark, but then it kind of went out west, and it's like, it's not a lot of opportunities out here. You got to create them, you got to kind of make your own thing. So
that's right.
It's important to build with people that see that and understand the vision and stuff like that, because it's not easy. So like you said, every day we hitting the ground trying to make it happen. So anytime that anybody can acknowledge that and appreciate that means a lot to me, because it's like people seeing, they seeing what you're doing, It's not all
and we've been following each other for some years now, man, and like I said, you never wavered. So it's this is, I'm looking from the outside looking in, this is a guy serious about his craft. Right. This guy's got movies on streaming networks. Okay. He's about business, man. He's not playing games. Right. When you got 5 movies out right now, that's, hey man, I know you feel like you haven't arrived. Oh man, I'm still climbing this mountain, man. Look, go through your phone and find me somebody else with 5 movies on Tubi.
Yeah.
Okay?
I appreciate that because I got to give myself some grace
You got
sometimes.
to think about that sometimes,
Yeah.
man. Think about it.
Yeah.
Show me who else.
Yeah.
I'm
don't.
sure you
I
could
don't.
show me maybe a few that got, well, he got a movie out. That's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
She has a movie. They have 5.
But not as many.
Right,
No.
come on.
No.
So you're doing the thing,
Yeah.
man, and sometimes, we need that reassurance, man, because a lot of times what happens especially in the black community, man, I'm going to speak on this, and this is, a guy arrives and he has arrived. That's it. There's no one else with him.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no, there's no advice. There's no, hey, and nobody's saying I'm going to use a saying that Warren Buffett usually uses, okay, the famous investor. You don't have to give away the kingdom to help somebody or
Right.
to work with somebody.
Right.
All you have to do is say, hey, listen, this can benefit me as well.
Yeah.
I see this avenue for, both of us,
Right.
And with 2 guys like us that have gone in our respective industries and gone on our respective paths and gotten to where we've gotten, we're a lot more powerful than we think together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But me operating on my own over here and you operating on your own over there, you're still powerful, but you're not as powerful as y'all if y'all
When
were
you
together,
connect,
right?
yeah.
Say you're having a sports film or a film about a retired athlete
Right.
or a film about a coach, right? Us not working together now, you have to really dig into the crates, dig into the resources to get the right guys to where I could provide something like that for you at the snap of I don't even have to think about it.
Right,
Oh, I
right.
could call so-and-so. And he did some acting. Right?
Yep.
Okay. And, oh, he's a good guy, just like Marie. He would like that. Boom, boom, boom.
And
So
you
that's
putting it
that's
together.
just an example of
Right.
something, or you call me, hey, Andrew, what do you think about this or whatever? Would this be a realistic fight scene or football scene or so? I'm just running stuff off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's along the lines of, man, when we arrive, it's all singular. There's no
Yeah.
plural. There's no we or
Yeah.
and then we got to get away from that because
That's a big
no
thing.
one else does it but us.
Yeah,
right? We got to
yeah.
get away from that.
Yeah, and like, what do you think that is, man? Is it an ego thing? Is it lifelong?
I think it's trauma,
traumas?
too.
Yeah, lifelong
think it's
traumas
trauma.
that's been passed down and thinking I got to get it, and if I get it, or if you get it, then I can't get it, or I got to get
Well,
it
you
first,
know what?
or whatever the
Sometimes,
case may
Maurice,
be.
too, it's also using your head. It's a shame because a lot of people they want to come and just take.
Right.
So some guys, I don't really blame them for being that way.
Right.
Saying, hey, you know what? I got here. Let me really guard these resources. Let me really guard because
Right.
you got poachers out here.
Yeah.
Right. And then you got the guy, you've helped him significantly, but at the end of the day, now he's Ray Charles when he sees you.
Right.
He's turned into Stevie Wonder. It's like, hey, man, So,
Yes, that's a big thing too.
Right?
So I think it is like you said. You got to know who to help and when to help.
There
and,
you go. That's
and know
it.
who you're dealing with. Because like you said, a lot of times people would just want to take. They want to withdraw, but they don't want to put any deposits.
Oh, wow.
That's like
yep, you put
a
it
really
perfect.
big thing. And you'll see it all the time where it's just like what I think people need to be like, okay, what can I bring to the table? How can I help this person?
That's the
Especially
first way listen, before I even talk to you, I've already thought about that. There's no, hey, because think about it. At the end of the day, right? We're saying, hey, we could do well working together. But remember, we've both arrived on some level.
Right. In
So
our
at the
own
end of the day,
respect,
the guy doesn't really need. Look at what he's done.
Yeah.
Right before he even knew who you were.
Right, he already did his
So
own
now
thing. Yeah.
it's like, hey, how can I heighten that success?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, that's the thing, just like you said, these guys, they don't think about how they can, help.
But that's a beautiful conversation because it's like you say, before I even talk to somebody or before I
Sure.
even reach out,
Sure.
you're saying, how can I help this person? I'm
That's
already
it.
thinking about it.
Right. That's it.
I'm already thinking about
Even
it.
if I'm further along than them,
Even
I have to think of a way to add value to that equation. And you know what, Maurice, forget about, even our professional career. That's anything. That's an all thing. That's in personal relationships, right? I meet a woman, same thing, right? How can I help you get further along, right?
Right.
Every dude wants to spend time with you.
Right.
Every dude wants to go on vacation.
That's
Every
easy.
dude,
Yeah,
right?
That's regular.
Yeah. How can I knock something out for you? How can I add this to you? So that's what we got to get into that level of thinking. And that's the rich mentality of
Right,
the mind.
right.
I'm never in a scarcity mindset.
Scarcity
I'm
mindset. That's
never in a
such a big
scarcity
thing.
mindset,
Yeah.
right? So, I'm always in an abundance mindset.
Abundance mindset. That's
Yeah,
a beautiful thing
yeah.
because a lot of people come into the equation and they're like, well, what can I get out this situation? That's the first thing they're thinking about. They're not even
Terrible
thinking
way of
about
thinking, man.
what value can I bring.
Yep.
And that's refreshing to hear you say that because you don't see that a lot of times.
No,
You'll
you
bring
don't.
people on and all they're worrying about is what they're getting out the situation,
That's
right?
it.
They ain't even thinking about like, yo, how can I, I ain't even worried about what I get out. Let me just bring
Yep.
some value to the table because I know in the long run
Yep.
this is going to be X, Y, Z. This is going to build a relationship.
Well, let's
And
think about
sometimes
it,
it's not
man.
even about
Let's
that.
talk about Friday, the original Friday.
Right.
Okay. Now, let's say Chris Tucker had already been on Def Comedy Jam. John Witherspoon was a comedian for some years at that
Yep.
time. Tiny Lister played Debo.
Yep.
He was in the WWE. He made appearances here, there.
Yeah.
Ice Cube had been in NWA. It was his film.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, Arnez J, who played he was a comedian already.
Yeah.
So you had guys that had already been on television,
Yeah.
already made some money, okay?
They had their own.
But the thing
lane.
is, they decided to all come to Nia Long,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Who decided to all come together and say, hey, we're going to do this film. They all got paid about $5,000 a piece.
Nothing. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, do you see where Friday got their career?
It got him
Now,
all
show
gone.
me how many people are going to come to you and say, hey, Maurice, you know what? I believe in whether it be Recession, Kodak, Ambition, whatever the movie is, right? And I don't even want to talk about dollars and cents right now because I know where you're going,
Right.
right?
Right.
I want to be a part of this. I want to jump on board. I want to tell I take my craft serious. I
Right.
take you serious.
Right.
And that's how I go into things, right? I'm not going into it with this monetary success of hey, let me get some check of whatever like that. That's literally the last thing on my mind. Okay. So, if a guy had come to you and really, was really taking his craft serious, he'd be in 5 movies on Tubi right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So he went from maybe 3-4 years ago, okay,
Yeah.
getting a monologue straightened out and really, how am I going to get into things? Should I move to California and this and that? No, if you networked with the right people, you did the
could
right
have-
thing.
yep.
Right, and
You could've been good.
and you tried to add some value to the equation as well as getting something in return. Look at where you'd be right now.
Right.
Hey, you could go on and turn on the TV and see yourself on
You'd
it.
be right there.
That is a milestone in your young career, or old, even if you're an older person.
Right.
That's a milestone right there.
Right.
You could talk to your grandchildren about that film you were in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
That's a big thing. I think a lot of people they're I call it getting in their own way. Because they can't really they
you
can't
put that.
really,
Yeah, you said that well. Well said. Yep.
They can't see the bigger picture sometimes. They're so caught up on what they can see that what they call the low hanging fruit, right?
Yep.
Okay, what can I get right now? And you got a lot of times it's such a small amount to compared to where you can really take things, right?
Yep.
You might get involved with somebody and it's like, okay, I can give you a little something right here, but if you rock with me, if we build this thing up,
Yep.
imagine where we could really take it.
Yeah.
Imagine where you would really
Yeah.
get out the situation.
I mean, one film blows, 2 films blow. I mean, now you're putting together, a catastrophic project in 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
I mean, listen, hey, remember me? Look at all these, filmmakers that keep those same. You see that same
Yep.
Rolodex of people in every film.
Same people.
And the thing is you wanted to make 50 grand on your first 10 movies instead of
Right.
just coming to the realm of realistic because you're not bringing that kind of value to the production anyway.
Anyway. Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Do you have a social media presence? Do you have a following? Can you get butts in seats anywhere?
Right.
Can you even get butts in seats at a premiere?
Right.
So like you have to be real with yourself at the end of the day,
That too. Yep.
right? So
Yeah, that's such a big thing, man. I mean, I see it. No, I see it all, man.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I've been blessed to have just really solid people that invested in me in different ways, whether it's just time, resources, seeing the vision and all of that stuff.
Sure.
But I've also seen a lot of people that just get in their own way.
That's it.
And they can't really see the big picture. They don't really understand what they're dealing with and who they're dealing with.
Sure.
And, these are the ones that 5 years down the line, you're like, what are they doing?
Yep.
You know what I mean? They'll find a way to kind of get in their own way.
Yeah.
And me, it's just like, I'm
Oh, I'm
always
going
looking.
back to school and being this now.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's great. You're doing the right thing, but
Yeah.
see, you're off track now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of all you had to do was do the right thing, stay down,
Yeah.
stay on that course of action.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
we'd be right there.
Getting into some acting, like how did that transition go? How did you kind of get into how did you develop the little acting bug?
So when I came back from the junior college, Lackawanna, I went and enrolled in Camden County College.
Okay.
Took acting 1.
Okay.
And my teacher, she told me, hey, I want you to be in our musical.
Okay.
So I said, musical? I'm not doing that,
Yeah.
Anyway, I ended up doing it, loved it, right? And then that's how it started. So shortly after, maybe this is '08, so maybe 2010, a film comes up at our gym. They're shooting a film called The Dewey Bozella Story. It's
Okay.
an ESPN 30 for 30.
Okay.
And they need one guy that was right around the light heavyweight or cruiserweight
Okay.
to do the sparring scene with Dewey,
Okay.
who he won the Arthur Ashe Award at the ESPYs that year.
Nice.
So he was wrongfully accused, 27 years in jail, and ended up not doing it. So yeah. So once a DNA evidence, forensics, whatever, I don't know the correct terminology, but they let him out.
Okay.
So he wanted to achieve his dream of becoming a pro boxer at 50. And so he did it at, I think it was 51 or 52. So he's trying to attain a license to fight, and Bernard Hopkins was helping him because he actually was the champion at 175 when he was locked up in his early 20s.
Okay.
So, he felt as though his dream slipped away, and also Bernard Hopkins helped him get on a card of his in Atlantic City against Chad Dawson.
Okay.
And he ended up, choosing me to be in that film. So yeah, so I have an IMDb credit for that. That was
nice.
actually the first film right there. That was 2010, and then what I'd say the next was 2015. It was a movie called Fight Valley,
Okay.
independent film here, shot right here in South Jersey. Then a couple more after that. Did Lola movie in 2018,
Okay.
and did we do anything after that? No, actually, right now, just waiting to get in some Maurice Paramore
Yeah,
films.
man. Gotta get you
I mean,
involved
that's the
now.
one.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
None of them people I named got 5 movies on Tubi. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. It's so crazy, because you don't really, like I said, you hit the ground running, and you kind of just got to kind of step back sometimes and just see, what you have done and appreciate what you have done, because you kind of get, the game is you can get very discouraged.
Yeah.
In the industry, right? Because it may not happen when you want it to happen or how you want it to
There
happen
you
and
go.
all that.
The time frame you
the time
have in
frame.
your head.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be here at this time.
Right,
it's supposed to look like
I'm
this.
supposed to have $3 million in my bank
Exactly.
account, but hey, just like we were saying earlier about how Terrence Howard said for Hustle and Flow, he didn't even make $10,000. Come on, man.
Yeah. You would have thought he would have made at least $250,000 or something
exactly.
better.
If you saw that movie, it's a major production.
Yeah.
And
he killed it. He starred
he did a
damn near
great
every
job.
scene.
Yep.
But that's the thing too. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
A lot of times people want to talk about things and talk about the industry, and they have no idea what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I hear it all the time. Like you say, I have 5 movies on Tubi. People come, they think you killing it then. How you doing all these films? Or you
Sure.
got this. Okay, now I want to get paid this. And it's like,
Sure.
you don't really even understand what's going on. You don't know how much these films are making or not making.
Yep.
You don't know what is going into the production, how much you actually putting up for the money,
man.
right? And that's a
sure.
whole nother thing. You putting up your own money for these projects to make things happen. And people just really don't, they're very ignorant to the process, how it works, the business and all of that stuff. And, that sometimes can be frustrating, but you got to kind of stay on course. How does that relate to like boxing as far as just like acting and stuff like that? Do you feel any like similarities to like the discipline that you may need?
To be completely honest, I didn't really. Those films and things like that came along with me
What you was
being
already
in position and
Okay.
in the position I was in. It wasn't like I was out pursuing.
Right.
I've never auditioned for anything.
Okay.
You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
I'll end up auditioning, in the future, but I've never actually like called myself pursuing acting. But hey, I am an actor.
Right.
So I do I have taken courses in college. Okay, I have. I am a part of acting programs.
Right.
Okay, so I do work on my craft.
Studying
But
the
at the end of
craft.
the day, exactly, I've never actually gone out and said I'm pursuing acting.
Right.
Sports, then business, now back to sports and business.
Right.
Has been the course of my life, my
Right.
whole adult life. And now obviously going back in acting, but saying, hey, now I'm going to put an extra focus on this, and I'm going to be, you know,
A little more proactive with
exactly,
trying to do more with the acting and stuff like that.
2024, I'm telling you, I got a hold of everything, man.
Got
I
to.
mean, we're putting the extra focus on that.
Yes.
I mean, I've been in the gym hard.
Nice.
Okay, kickboxing. I'm telling you, I'm feeling really, really good about these upcoming years right here.
Yeah.
So,
And that's important. I think confidence and having a vision for the future, is really important. Like, okay, because if you don't feel good about yourself, you don't feel good about things, then you're going to attract that. You're going to attract that,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be what you're looking for. You know what I
and
mean?
if you don't believe, how are you going to expect anyone else to?
Yeah.
You have to believe. I'm going to tell you, with all the stuff we're talking about, right? And I know you can relate to this. Let me tell you, I've had a good support system, but I've also had no support system. This is Andrew every day waking up with that same mindset.
Yes.
Okay? Day in and day out. There's no, I'm having doubts today and all that. Yeah, do they come? Of course.
Right.
It's a natural thing. But at the end of the day, let me tell you, betting on me, right? I'm self-funded, right? I don't have an investor anywhere. Right? I don't have a some committee or crew that's waking me up in the morning
Right.
with a motivational speech.
Right. Get
I'm
up.
trying to tell you, I'm doing this all myself.
Yeah.
Maurice, and I
I respect
have
that.
some great associates that I work with and do business with. Okay,
Right.
they help me, I help them.
Okay.
But at the end of the day,
It's you.
this is exactly.
It's you.
Okay.
And elaborate on that, because how hard is it to run off of your own energy?
That's
daily?
as hard as boxing.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, because you have to wake yourself up every day, like you said, right? And the days that you might feel a little off, you still got to get in the gym.
Yep.
Right. If you don't have somebody that's investing and funding your projects, you got to go figure out. You got to go get the money. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I think a lot of times that kind of runs people into the ground, and that's why it kind of shows you like this industry will weed itself out. It'll weed the
sure
people
will.
out, right?
Yes, it will.
just it's designed to do that. So how, like, what keeps you motivated to keep going, to stay on course? And we'll get into like the business aspect, because that's a whole nother thing dealing with business.
Sure.
What keeps you going?
I would say what keeps me going is a number of things. Okay, knowing that I started at 8 years old. Okay, I set out. I have achieved goals. So the small wins, the big wins, the wins. That the ground I've covered already. I can't turn back now. Right. And I can't get comfortable because I'm not. Okay, so being that top guy has always been that's where I want to be. I'm not trying to be the second or third or
Right.
fourth. So, if I'm not at the top of something, it's not the top
what
of the
we
sport
doing?
or at the
Yeah.
top of the, hey, up and coming actors, whatever
Right.
it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, that's
You
not.
want to be the best.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, or mentioned with those
Yeah,
guys. So
yeah.
or girls.
Like
so.
Jay said, I'm not doing this to be second.
Oh no, absolutely not. Well, I saw I saw a meme on I think it was Instagram and said, for all you people that are telling people to be humble, always remember this: Michael Jordan didn't go into one game saying I'm gonna finish second.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
That man went into everything,
Like-
and savage mode. I am better than you. I'm way, but
Yeah.
not only am I better, I'm way
I'm
better
way
than
better
you.
than you, and I'm gonna prove it.
And I also heard Dame Dash say something. These are people I follow.
Right.
Hey, don't tell me to be humble. It's positive affirmations at all time. Nobody else is going to tell me I'm great.
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's why I keep speaking that life over you, man, because I see what you're doing. I've been seeing what you are doing now for 5+ years.
Right.
So, just remember, man, you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I appreciate that because, like you said, sometimes you can not realize like the amount of ground that you have covered already, and the
You
things
forget
that you're doing. You
sometimes.
forget, you feel like you on a treadmill, but you be like, you look up, or it takes somebody like yourself who has reached out and one time was just like, I've watched you. I remember you saying something like, I've watched you for like 2 or 3 years before I even said anything. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Oh,
Because
exactly. Yes.
most
Yes.
people will just fall off, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They won't keep running the course. And you was kind of like, just like, let me just, okay, I see he got ground, but let me just see before I even say something.
There you
Because a
go.
lot of times you could just almost waste your time with people, because
That's right.
a year or two from now, people won't even be doing the same things
That's
that they're
right.
doing. You know how many times that when I was doing music, the next year nobody's rapping anymore. When I was
That's
doing
right.
music videos, next you can't find anybody with a camera anymore. You know what I
Nope.
mean? And now it's the same thing with like film. Sometimes you want to, before I even invest my own energy or time
That's
or
right.
money into something, let me make sure that this is a sure bet or somebody that I'm willing
And
to,
you know what the thing
you
is,
know,
they're not even in the game anymore, and they steal resources, right?
yeah,
They've taken
they take it. Yep,
withdrawals,
yep,
right?
yep,
No deposits back, and it's like,
nothing.
man, I dropped some jewels and some gems
Yeah,
on you,
yep.
and you're not out here anymore, and or you're giving it to
You
somebody
give it to
else. I'm
somebody
not
else.
reaping any benefits from it.
Exactly.
So that's again why I said that. I think we were at that Tuscan place.
Yep,
We had
yep, yep.
Matt sat down, talked a little
It had a
business
good,
that
yeah,
day.
yep,
That was a
yep.
good day, man.
Yeah,
And
it really was.
I was telling you, I said, man, like I said, 3 years now, and I see you haven't wavered from what you're doing. You're only taking steps up, and I don't even care if you stayed in the same place, because see,
Right.
maybe that was something I could help you with, right?
Right,
But that wasn't
right,
the case. I'm
right,
seeing you
right,
progress,
right, right, right.
and I say, hey, this is a guy that I want to be, associated with here.
I appreciate that, man. But
Yeah.
that's an interesting point you said too, because sometimes, you know, um, you might just need that extra push, right? Where you have somebody that's kind of like they in the same spot and they can't kind of get over to that next thing, and
Yep.
sometimes it just takes like somebody that can see it from another perspective from the
Yep.
outside. That's like, yo,
Yes.
this is the thing that you kind of missing. Like you got this,
Yep.
but it's just one thing you're missing, and sometimes it's that extra person that just comes in and brings that to the table.
That's
Next thing you
it.
know, you out of here. You know
That's
what I
it.
mean?
Boom.
So that's an important thing, man. So I want to talk about your transition from that to
Sure.
the businessman, Andrew, the businessman, the entrepreneur, that, decided to kind of get into the same lane of that you was as an athlete,
Sure.
whether it's, boxing, MMA,
Sure.
modeling,
Sure.
management and
Yep.
all of that stuff. So how did you get into like the business? Why did you get into the business? And what is that looking like for you right now?
I'll tell you. So the business aspect started. I have to go back similar to around the same time frame of when we started boxing. I became a personal trainer, how I mentioned earlier.
Right.
And then I, worked at Retro Fitness for a couple of years, and I realized, hey man, I can do this myself. So I went to a gym, started a company, rented space there, and I had a big program.
Okay.
I had about 80 clients at 23 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, so I was doing very, very well for myself at a young age, young entrepreneur. Okay, boxing, I'm selling tickets, I'm putting on shows, I'm training 100, almost 100 people. Right, had a staff.
Okay.
Okay, so that was my first entrepreneurial journey. Okay, right there.
Yep.
So then shortly after, boom, let's fast forward to about 2015 when I had stepped away from sports.
Okay.
I had reached out to a friend of mine from college, the NFL agent. So I got hired at his company, and I was an NFL agent. And I said to him, I said, "Hey, listen, I don't have my player license or anything like that. You do, okay?" And I was working for the company. Everything was going well. And then what I did was I eventually convinced him to add boxing and MMA to the equation. So we did that. Everything was going well. Worked there for about 2 years. No fallouts, no anything like that. Just we saw things a little different. He wanted to dissolve that company, start another company with some other guys.
Okay.
I went my way.
Okay.
And in 2018, I formed Dynamic Sports Representation.
Okay.
So it was perfect time because it had some athletes that I had trained back in the day. Okay, that were just starting to pop.
Needed representation and
There
stuff.
you go. Just starting to pop, and I had some new, talent.
Okay.
Plus myself, and we've done a variety of things. Dynamic, we autograph signings.
Okay.
Okay, mainly endorsements.
Okay.
That is the number one. That was our life's blood. Okay.
Endorsements.
Endorsements. Yep. So
So a player endorsing a product or a
there you go.
company or something like
Absolutely.
that.
That's
Okay.
it. Yep. That has been the number one thing that has kept us going. So, so autograph signings, endorsements. We've done contract negotiation.
Okay.
Okay. Um, we have now journeyed into this year merchandise and memorabilia.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the future of dynamic right there is the memorabilia aspect.
Okay.
So we're collecting as much memorabilia from athletes
I was
we
about
know
to say from
and
the
from
athletes. Okay.
different things signed, and that's it, man. It's all money in the bank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I deal with a lot of memorabilia guys that pay athletes to do autograph signings, different things like that. So, I mean, that's where we are, man. We're all across the board in sports, but they're the areas of focus that I have gotten ahead of the game in.
Okay, that makes the most sense right now. You know, focusing on those things.
Exactly.
So when you talk about like memorabilia, is it all of the athletes that you represent, or just the memorabilia business in general that you may tap into?
Mainly the athletes that I've
that you represent and
represented
stuff
or
like
that I
that.
do represent.
Okay.
And just athletes that are in our reach.
Okay.
Athletes I'm friends with that hey, maybe I don't represent you, but,
Right.
like, hey, let's do a little bit of a memorabilia deal here. I may work it a couple of different ways. I may pay you to sign some things. I may you never know. You may I may do a service for you as far as making a connection or whatever like that, and you pay me in memorabilia. So
Nice.
I'm giving away the game right now, but
Yeah, man,
I'm
you
just
getting them
letting you
jewels.
know it's we're all across the board.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So I think what a lot of people want to know and understand, because you hear about it all the time. These deals, like endorsement deals and stuff
Sure.
like that. Like, what just speak more about like that aspect of it. Because I love to give the audience a little bit of behind the scenes on like just the business aspect of how a lot of these times how these things work. Because a lot of times people
Sure.
talk and they don't have no idea
Yeah.
what the heck is going on. You know what I mean? So me as a student, I just like to like learn that aspect of things. So when you think, and maybe just being a big sports fan and stuff like that. So when you're trying to do endorsement deals with athletes and companies
Sure.
like that, are you trying to like match an athlete up with a perfect company that you think already fits? Or are you trying to sell, you go to a company, you're trying to sell them on an idea that you may have for a client? Like, how is that
Both.
working?
See, Maurice, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm getting ready to start working with you on that because
Yeah.
you already have an understanding for
Yeah,
it. You just explained it could be either. See,
Okay.
and I like to say this. Be creative, right? Bring something to the table that makes sense. And say you're right now, we're at the office, right? Or we're in your office right now, okay? And you say, hey, Andrew, I think this, look at the Bowflex with Chuck Norris,
Okay.
right? Say you're looking at the Peloton,
Right.
and you're saying, hey, you're a football player, you're a WWE star, you're a basketball player, you're a boxer that you have. I think this works perfect for them. I'm in contact, this, that.
Right.
Now here we are. We have a conversation on the table. Now it's just about terms and how it can work out
How
for
it
the
makes
company
sense. Yeah.
and work out for the athlete without it being exploitation,
Right.
and without it being overbearing.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of times you can have stuff like you watch things and it's like, wow, it's the person's they got the car wrapped in that company, they all over their Instagram. I don't think that's fair.
Right.
But they're tagging them on Instagram on every single
Every post,
It's-
yeah.
So, in my opinion, that's all about the company. That's
Right.
not, that's not really benefiting the athlete.
The
but-
athlete.
Yeah, so I've worked with Fashion Nova for years.
Really?
Yeah, and since
Okay.
2017, and Fashion Nova is an awesome company. I mean, obviously they weren't as big as they are now.
Now, right.
But, Fashion Nova, Ralph Lauren, trifecta. Obviously, Ralph Lauren was a juggernaut before I,
Before
even
you
was
got
in this
involved,
game.
yeah.
But as far as trifecta and Fashion Nova and Cameo, the app with the shout outs and stuff like that, with them at their inception, right? All mega companies right now. So I had athletes and entertainers on with them in the beginning.
Oh, wow.
I was definitely a big part of them growing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Integral. Yeah.
but I brought stuff to the table. None of those deals with those three companies are the same. Okay. Some of some of the deal with Trifecta is totally different than the deal with Cameo. Is totally different than the deal with Fashion Nova. Right.
Okay.
So depending on the athlete, you I might have an athlete that's worth per month or a couple thousand, and one's worth a couple 100,000.
Okay.
Right. So it's all a matter of like you said, being able to
Sell
work it.
something on something.
Exactly.
Like, how does
You
it
might
make
be
sense?
selling the company on the idea of this
Right.
athlete, then maybe somebody's not as big. But if I'm going here with the athlete, say, somebody that's a household name, I'm not really selling them on anything.
Right.
It's like,
already
hey,
there.
man, this is actually, I see where this can. Sometimes they like to play
Play
dumb though.
hardball, yeah.
Oh, really? How you think that could help us? What do you mean? How can it help us?
Like, look who I'm
Yeah,
bringing to you.
hashtag his name and look him up, and
Exactly.
then you'll see how, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
So a lot of that is
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to be creative to kind of
exactly.
make something happen on your
That's
own.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
'Cause
it.
a lot of times, when I think of endorsements, I'm thinking a company, and I'm pretty sure maybe it does happen like that sometimes, but I'm thinking a company is like, okay, I see XYZ, I see this athlete. Okay, I think they can help my brand. But you're saying
Sure.
sometimes you might have to, steam, be the person to say, okay, I got an idea. Let me bring this to the company and just to
Yep.
see what they think about it and stuff
Sure.
like that. So you got to be creative.
And you got to be careful what you bring to them, because they won't do it with you, and they'll go do it with another athlete.
Take that
Right?
same idea.
So first you gotta and you gotta make sure you know what athlete you're dealing with, right? Right. They might
Right.
try to go to the company and do something behind your
Behind your back.
It's a game, and there's no. I'm telling you, and this game is dangerous, man.
There's sharks in every game.
Yeah, you really have to be mindful,
Okay.
and experienced,
Right.
and know what's going on out here. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, man, you'll be at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
And these people will be profiting
off
off of
your
an
hard work.
idea just
Yeah.
because you. It's a term I like to use. Whenever I'm talking about selling business or, anything along those lines, verbally vomit.
Okay.
You don't want to verbally vomit, okay? Sometimes you go in a place and it's sold already. Stop talking. It's done.
Okay.
Right? They got it. They bought it. You don't want to verbally vomit on a person that has their checkbook out.
Okay.
Or that has the money out that's ready to go. So, that's one thing that you can also verbally vomit by telling somebody too much. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
again, trust me, they'll run and do it somewhere else.
Or somebody else.
Right?
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And act like you ain't never bring nothing to the table.
There you go. So again, that's why I also pick and choose carefully who my associates are.
Right.
You
right. Right. No, that's an interesting part of it. I always love to, really try to understand the business, man, because that's people sometimes forget that this is show business,
Sure.
or the music business
Yep.
or film business.
There you go.
We just want to be
Ain't
artists
no games
and stuff
being
like
played
that.
out here,
no,
man.
no, it's serious.
These people, I'm telling you, man, they're playing for keeps.
Yeah.
And we're having a real conversation right now.
Right.
We're not having a conversation that's a gushy, yeah, everything's good now. These people, you really got, and it has not happened to me a great deal at
Right.
all. I'm not, sitting here crying a victim story or something
right,
like that. 'Cause I never would be doing that anyway, but I'm just saying I've seen it happen.
Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah, it's definitely out there.
And it's not for me, it's not something I do, knock on wood. I've never been to court one time, right? I don't have
good.
an athlete or entertainer out there anywhere singing my name, talking about I
Throwing dirt on your name.
haven't done anything or haven't done this or haven't done that. Because let me tell you something, at the end of the day, again, like I said, I am self-funded, right?
Right.
I've gone in my own pocket. I've earned my own, money to finance and fund my people regardless.
Right.
If we don't have an endorsement, at the very least you're here, you're getting endorsed by Dynamic.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a win-win across the board.
Absolutely. Well, I want to speak on just kind of staying in that lane real quick before we wrap up. How is it within that business? Because it's the entertainment business, you dealing with a lot of egos. A lot of people have, visions or, I kind of want to go this way. You want to go that way. How is it like managing or just doing business with a lot of just athletes or entertainers, however you want to classify them?
Not easy.
Yeah.
Maurice, I'm telling you, it's you I heard you say something on your previous episode. You have to find your audience. You have to find your tribe,
Yes.
right? So just how you said, on your previous episode, I heard you say you have to find your audience. You have to find your tribe
Yep.
because, again, just like we just said, people will take your ideas or take your resources or whatever, and they'll be benefiting from it, and you'll be getting nothing.
Yep.
So you have to find your tribe, and even they'll surprise you sometime. But for the most part, we all adults now, so
Right.
we can kind of weed out who is worth our time or is worth our investment. Okay, and all that. But yeah, you have to find your tribe, man,
Right.
because it's not easy to dealing with all these personalities and dealing with people that are mega rich and
Right.
dealing with people who are just, I mean, drunk off of success.
Right.
I mean, at the top of the game,
Right.
right? That person is not talking, walking, acting like a rational person would. That has a whatever 75K a year job or six figures, or
Right.
even a doctor or lawyer who you would consider as the highest paying job in the workforce, or an engineer, right?
Right.
A pro athlete or entertainer, right, is so drunk on success sometimes,
Yeah.
okay, that they're not ever thinking rationally,
Right.
right? And you're telling them what the right thing is, and hey, I think this, and they're contrary to everything, and how can you tell them they don't know what they're doing when look at where they've gotten
they
at
at?
such a
Yeah.
young age?
Yes.
So it's not easy, and that's why you get a lot of guys that don't want to coach in the pros. They'll only coach college, right? Because and then you heard Deion Sanders say it.
I
Now,
don't
who
wanna talk
better
about
to
grown men.
speak
Yeah.
on it than a guy who was probably what?
One of them people that was drunk off success.
He don't want to encounter him,
He don't wanna
right?
deal with himself.
So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And listen, I know firsthand, right? I've been at the top, right? I've been for my age group, I've been at the top of business and at the top of sports,
Right.
right? So I know what that guy that was drunk on success and that was, very hard to talk to, hard to
deal
be
with.
around.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
just a hard individual to level with,
Right.
right? So that again prepared me for this. So now I can relate to these guys a lot better than Mr. John Q. Citizen here that's, maybe coming from Wall Street or whatever. Now he wants to be an agent or a manager. These kids, man, they'll chew him up and spit him out.
Right.
And you don't have any business doing that anyway because you've never walked in their shoes, right?
Right.
So
Great conversation, man. I love talking about the journey. You had an interesting journey. Starting all the way back from sports to now managing and doing business with athletes and stuff like that. Bright mind. I want to thank you for coming on, man. Really great insight. I appreciate you, man. Follow this guy, man. Anything you want to kind of close him out with, like a word of wisdom, as far as just like anything motivational or business wise.
yeah, so you mentioned follow me, so you can find me on Instagram at dsr.llc. Yeah, and in closing, I just want to say that dynamic is definitely on the rise. We got a lot of stuff planned, okay, and we're gonna reach heights that a lot of people thought we weren't gonna reach. So, we did a lot early in the earlier years, but I'm telling you, we still here, we still in full effect, and it's a lot of stuff coming. So just be on the lookout. Thank you.
There you have it, man. Follow my brother Andrew doing his thing, man. I want to thank you for coming on. Had a pleasure having you, man. Finally got to sit down and like I said, have a conversation that the world can be able to take something from as well, man. Like I said, you have an interesting story, and I can't wait to see what you do next. And we definitely got to get on a project together. Make sure we get on that, man. Definitely want to get you involved. What I got going on. And yeah, man. So y'all just make sure y'all like and subscribe, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you like what you hearing, if you like what you seeing, tap in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and make sure you tap in with him. Tap in with me at Dreamboy Vision and at Direct Your Success Podcast. Follow both of those pages. And whatever you're trying to do in your life, man, go out there and go get it. And consistency is so important, man. Like nothing's gonna happen without consistency. And it may not happen today or tomorrow, but in 5 years you will be like, wow, never thought I can come this far. So just keep going and make it happen. And we will see you on the next episode. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Out of here.